Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Smashbox Studio Skin 24-Hour Waterproof Concealer. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Typically I'm not a huge fan of Smashbox concealers, but some of the YouTubers that I really trust and really like this concealer, and I'm always into, I just love trying concealers and foundations and lipstick. That's my favorite thing to test. I stick with the same mascaras and the same eyeliners. A lot of the time the same eyeshadow brands even, but I will try anything from the concealer, foundation, and lipstick range. So I decided to go out during the Sephora Via Rouge sale and pick this up just to give it an old test. Before we get any farther into my thoughts on this concealer, let's take a look at it on the Sephora website. This concealer retails for $29 Canadian, which is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money for a concealer that you're buying at Sephora. You know, there are a lot of other concealers that are way more expensive than that. But the shade range is terrible, by the way. I might add, these are all, look at how light all of those shades are. So I actually have mine in the shade Light, which I think is the third lightest shade. It's not even the palest. It's up there, but it's not the palest. It has a 3 3/4 / 4-star review, which I think is a pretty good review. So we scroll down. What is it? An oil-free and waterproof hydrating concealer created in Smashbox's LA photo studio to flawlessly camouflage imperfections and last throughout a 24-hour shoot. What it does. Makeup artists in Smashbox's LA photo studio call this concealer a magic wand because it makes any skin imperfection disappear and last all day. Waterproof and moisturizing, the creamy formula blends flawlessly without creasing, caking, or settling. It provides medium to full buildable coverage, and its light diffusing spheres blur imperfection. It's sweat, humidity, and transfer resistant so that there's no need for midday touch-ups. I don't have a ton to say about this concealer. But what I do have to say about this concealer is that I'm a little bit conflicted, because my problem with this concealer is that it likes to kind of set itself, which can be seen as a good thing, but is also kind of a bad thing. Let me explain. So if I'm using this concealer on a blemish, let's say, I just dab a little bit on, it kind of sets itself, it's good to go, we're great, 10 out of 10, would recommend. But the problem is that I bought this concealer mainly for the use on my under eyes. And now it's got a lot of coverage to it. Now the problem is that, like I said, it tries to set itself. But I have pretty wrinkly under eyes. I mean, maybe the younger people that I'm watching on YouTube who, haven't been through the trials and the tribulations in their life that I have been in, that have aged me far beyond my years, maybe they don't have as wrinkly under eyes as I do. Because my problem is that this tries to set itself, but it doesn't set itself enough, so it's going to start creasing on me. So I had to set it with powder. But the problem is that when I set it with powder, it still tries to set itself, and that's when it gets a little bit cakey looking. And I actually have the problem, especially with the border, if you will, of where my concealer meets my foundation. I have a really hard time blending it out there. You can see it almost like I'm some kind of children's map here. It's all crackly and gross. You can see in the close-ups here that it just looks not the best, especially there on the borders. And I sit here with different brushes and the sponges and what have you, trying to blend it out, and I just can't get it blended out. So for how good it looks, under my eye, in this section, the edges look so bad that I can't live with it. I can't do it. So I am shooting this video right now, a month before you're going to see it, because I'm going to return it and exchange it for probably a different concealer that I can try out, or just get a different concealer and whatever. Because, like I said, as much as there are points to this concealer that I like, I can't use it for what I bought it for. So it's unfortunate, because this is the first Smashbox product that I've ever tried that I didn't outright hate, which is so mean. I have nothing against Smashbox. I really don't. They're not a bad brand. I just often find that their things are too expensive for what I'm getting. You know what I mean? I don't like the product enough to spend that much money on it, which I guess is sort of how I feel about this too, because I'm having such a hard time blending it. That's the kind of thing that I expect from a drugstore concealer. But I guess I can't really recommend it to you, even if you don't have really wrinkly under eyes, because then you're going to have a hard time blending the edges out, even still, the same way that I do. So all in all, this is not my favorite concealer, and I'm gonna keep looking for other ones. I've heard the NYX HD concealer that kind of looks like this, And it's very similar. So I'm thinking maybe because it's like a little bit of a cheaper product, maybe it doesn't try to set itself up as much. Like maybe that's the luxury product in this coming out. So maybe I'll try that one and it'll work better for me. But yeah, not my favorite. But the really important question is, have you ever tried this concealer? And if you have, what did you think of it? Let me know down below. Maybe I did something wrong. I mean, maybe you had a different experience. I don't know. Let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you next time. Bye!